Worldcup Messi theory. Alright, let's just say it. The 2022 World Cup was rigged. It was a Messi tournament only. And FIFA? Just the directors, the script supervisors. You think Argentina clawed their way to victory? No. Argentina was basically escorted to that trophy. To prove it, I've searched through literally everything, and this is what I found. Scene 1, against Saudi Arabia. Argentina lose to Saudi Arabia in their opener. Yeah, because that makes sense, right? Every football nation in the world had Argentina as favorites, and somehow, they lose to a team whose midfield consists of insurance agents and army conscripts. But see, it's perfect storytelling. They had to lose. It's the classic fall before the rise. Like Rocky getting dropped in round 1, it's screenwriting 101, make your hero suffer, and just enough to make the comeback seem earned. Scene 2, the penalties. Argentina got 5 penalties in 7 games. Not even kidding. Messi's shin gets brushed by a Qatari breeze. Penalty. VAR spends 14 minutes analyzing an angle that doesn't exist. Penalty. Keeper sneezes too loudly. Penalty. Scene 3, Poland game. Wojciech Szczęsny barely touches Messi. Barely. It's the kind of contact that wouldn't knock over a paper straw in a Starbucks cup. Still, penalty. Even Szczęsny himself said, "I bet him it wouldn't be a pen." He lost. The goalkeeper literally called out the scam, and the football god still smacked him with a whistle. Scene 4, Netherlands chaos. Argentina versus Netherlands. Yellow cards flying like Uno reverses, fights breaking out like it's a UFC undercard. And then, Emi Martinez turning into Batman on penalties while taunting the entire Dutch nation. You thought that match was organic? That was drama injection. That was scripted television. This wasn't Messi the Shy Magician. This was main character energy, sponsored by FIFA+. Scene 5, the France final. This one is maybe even the most obvious one. The final versus France was too perfect. 2 goals for Messi, hat-trick for Mbappe, 3-3. Penalties, and a GOAT debate crammed into 120 minutes of football. Messi gets his fairy tale, Emi does his vulgar dance, Mbappe, despite scoring 3, is turned into the tragic hero. After all, Argentina wins the cup. But what then happened is quite shocking, and maybe even the most shameful one of all. Messi suddenly wins the Ballon d'Or. What the f***? It was basically FIFA's version of thank you for your service, soldier. Because if we're being brutally honest, and we are, Messi didn't deserve it. Not this time. Just look at Holland breaking records while scoring insane goals and winning a treble. But then why do some people still think that he deserved it? Well, Messi played in League 1, the least competitive top 5 league, for a PSG side that got bounced from the Champions League faster than Mbappe can ghost his teammates. He wasn't even the best player in France. Let that sink in. Mbappe outscored him, out-assisted him, outran him, and still didn't win. Meanwhile, Erling Haaland had a season so ridiculous it looked like a FIFA 23 glitch. He broke the Premier League goal record. He won the treble. And he did it while looking like an actual robot. But instead of rewarding that dominance, France football pulled the "but Messi won the World Cup" card. Again. Look, we get it. Messi is the GOAT. No debate there. But this Ballon d'Or wasn't about being the best in the last 12 months. It was about legacy, about giving the man one last golden ball to tuck into his collection before he rides off into MLS and Instagram nostalgia filters. You could literally feel it in the air. Heartwarming, emotional, but not earned. It was based on football history, and history sometimes lies to make the ending sweeter. But while searching, there is one thing that completely stood out. It's maybe even the most overlooked one of all. You think it's a coincidence that Messi's employers also happen to be Qatar's flagship investment? Paris Saint-Germain is owned by Qatar Sports Investments, and Qatar hosted the World Cup, and FIFA let it happen in December. Come on, bro. FIFA literally dressed Messi like a Qatari prince before he lifted the trophy. That wasn't tradition. That was branding. That was Infantino saying, "Thank you for your service, Leo. Now please sell this tournament for us with one iconic image." And boy, did it work. That photo of Messi in the bisht holding the trophy, it was reposted more times than actual Qatari citizens exist. Real Madrid and referees theory. Real Madrid didn't win 14 Champions Leagues because they're inevitable. They won most of them because the referees forgot their glasses and their morals. And no, this isn't hate. These are facts, and I will prove it. Champions League final, Real Madrid versus Liverpool. Sergio Ramos grabs Mo Salah's arm like it's a chicken wing, twists, pulls, drops, and somehow that wasn't a foul. That wasn't a tackle. That was a takedown. It looked like a jiu-jitsu tutorial or something. Salah's shoulder exploded, Liverpool's game plan evaporated, and Ramos walked off whistling like he just asked for the time. That wasn't football, that was a hit job. But then something even more obvious happened. Loris Karius got elbowed in the head by Ramos a few minutes later. He wobbled around like he'd just been slapped by The Undertaker. 2 errors, 2 goals, everyone laughed, memes were made. Turns out, he had a concussion. Yep. Imagine if that had been Courtois. The Spanish media would have called it war crimes, I guess. But then fast forward to another season of doubtful errors and things took a really dark twist this time. Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, 4 clubs, 1 script, dominate, collapse, get eliminated. PSG, up 2-0 on aggregate. Then Donnarumma mistakenly gets bulldozed by Benzema, loses the ball, no foul called. Goal. Benzema then channels dark magic. PSG freeze like NPCs, ref just stands there, whistle lodged in his throat. Chelsea, Mount scores, Rudiger scores. They're ahead. Then the ref decides Marcos Alonso's goal doesn't count because handball in a parallel universe. Minutes later, real score. Of course they do. Manchester City 5-3 up on aggregate in the 90th minute. Then Rodrigo, who had done nothing all season, turns into R9 with cheat codes. 2 goals in 90 seconds. Tie. Extra time? Of course. Benzema breathes on the pitch equals penalty. City didn't choke. They got mugged in broad daylight with UEFA as getaway driver. Liverpool have 9 billion shots. Courtois becomes the human wall. Madrid get one real chance. Vinicius taps it in. And the goal came off a ball that was barely onside. Not that we saw the offside lines. No replay, no check, no nothing. Just goal stands. Move along. Nothing to see here. Madrid fans say it's just mentality. Mentality doesn't get you fouls every time you dive. You foul them, it's a red. They break your leg. Play on. Their keeper gets tackled? Foul. But then let me explain the master behind all these things. Florentino Perez. Whenever Madrid get knocked out, Florentino doesn't complain. He reorganizes the tournament. He tried to launch the Super League mid-pandemic like a villainous LinkedIn entrepreneur. And UEFA still bends over for him every season. Because Real Madrid is UEFA's favorite child. They could commit footballing war crimes on a Tuesday and still get a favorable ref on Wednesday. Manchester City cheating theory. They Napstered it. Downloaded the rules, unzipped the loopholes, then re-uploaded their own version to the UEFA server. And somehow they're still out here like, oh, what, us? We're just smart with accounting. But what did they exactly do wrong then? Well, 115 charges. Meanwhile, lawyers were hired, delays filed, evidence buried deeper than Pep's hairline. But then is not even all. The most insane theory is yet to come. City's commercial revenue is like watching a toddler win the lottery every year. Etihad Airways, Etisalat, Emirates Palace Hotel, all sponsors, all also owned by the exact same royal family that owns the club. That's not sponsorship. That's rich uncle roleplay. Somehow UEFA looked at this and went, looks normal. Oh, now this one theory is even more beautiful. UEFA tried to ban City from the Champions League in 2020. City appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, but then the CAS came with a quite strange reason to let them not be guilty. Too much time has passed, they literally said, what the f***? Yep, I know. Everton overspend by 3.7 pence, 10-point deduction. Nottingham Forest signed too many championship merchants, investigation incoming. City, charge them with 115 crimes, and they reply with a 20-minute TikTok compilation of training drills. And the Premier League's like, oh wow, they do train hard. Never mind then. The rigged ball theory. Right, let's address the elephant in the room. The thing 22 people chase around for 90 minutes, it's not innocent, it's a snitch basically. The theory is that it's a hyper-engineered, overpaid narc designed by Adidas to spice up highlight reels and ruin goalkeepers' careers. You think that thing is fair? Nah mate, that thing's rigged worse than your local crypto coin. Worldcup 2010, South Africa, vuvuzelas blasting, and then, boom, goalkeepers start flying like drunk pigeons. Enter the Jabulani. A ball so floaty, so erratic, it made every keeper look like they were trying to catch a buttered watermelon on an ice rink. Julio Cesar, exposed. Casillas, clueless. Scientists literally studied the ball, found it had less air drag, less grip, and more unpredictable swerves. And Adidas had the audacity to say, it's the most tested ball in history. Yeah, in a wind tunnel, not against human dignity. But then Adidas has some insanely clever tricks when it comes to that same ball. Every tournament since has had a new ball. Yep, more different balls, more money. Adidas shows up like, this one's different. It's more accurate, more aerodynamic, more connected to your chakras. Lies. What they mean is, it makes defending harder and scoring sexier. Because goals equals clips equals likes equals sales. But then the most rigged ball Adidas has ever made, the Al Rila. Yep, marketed as the most connected ball ever. Yeah, because it literally had a chip inside. It sent data at 500 times per second. This thing was more high-tech than your phone. But here's the thing, that chip could allegedly detect micro-touches. So guess what happened? Messi scores a goal versus France that barely crosses the line. VAR says, oh yes, the chip confirms it. Bro, the ball has a chip that snitches. But have you ever noticed how players suddenly ping 40-yard passes like they're Prime Pirlo in the UCL? Champions League balls are smoother. They fly faster, they have less paneling, more glide, and way more drama. UEFA says it's to optimize play. Number, it's to make clips. Those long-range screamers, sponsored by Adidas marketing department. They don't want gritty 1-0 wins, they want 4-3 chaos. But then the keepers, honestly, you can't always blame them for the mistakes. I will prove it. One moment it's top corner, the next it's swerving like it owes taxes. David De Gea went from world-class shot stopper to looking like someone playing blindfolded dodgeball. Why? The balls. The poor man spent 5 seasons trying to catch live grenades. And no one talks about it. When a striker skies it, unlucky. When a keeper misjudges the flight, washed. Nah, give the man a volleyball and tell him to guess spin. That's what they're working with. To prove it, let's take a look at the 1990s ball. Heavy, lumpy, looked like a cow that got spray painted. You had to actually kick those things with force and intention. Now, you sneeze on the ball and it's already halfway to the top bins. Football isn't more attacking because of tactics, it's because the ball's juiced. The Premier League uses the Nike Flight, a ball with aerosculpt technology. What does that even mean? Fake injuries theory. Not every injury is an injury. Every March, without fail, Neymar disappears from training. No League One, no Champions League. But oh look, it's his sister's birthday week. What a coincidence. Again, this man has ducked more March fixtures than a tax accountant in April. And somehow PSG always backs him up. He's injured. Sure, probably twisted his ankle opening champagne. There should be a FIFA rule. If you're injured 3 birthdays in a row, you're just on holiday. But there is one player that's even more busy faking injuries. Pogba's been injured so many times, his medical record has more pages than his match highlights. At Juventus, at United, at Juventus again, it doesn't matter. The man disappears, posts some cryptic Instagram video in Dubai, then returns with a new haircut and no explanation. He's working on individual recovery. Is that code for playing five-a-side with influencers? Pogba has more comebacks than Marvel heroes, and each one ends with, he felt a little discomfort. Nah bro, we feel discomfort watching him jog around and vanish for 3 months. But at United, they do have an eye for fake injuries. Even Sancho back in the day went missing from United's squad. No injury report, no press release, nothing. Then Ten Hag comes out like a parent trying to explain a bad report card. He's not mentally ready to compete. Ooh, that's code for it. He argued with me, and now he's training in the woods somewhere until he apologizes. The club says individual program. That's just fancy HR speak for exile. But thank God we still have the classic injury explanations. A player mysteriously picks up a knock in training. The same training that's behind closed doors, with no cameras, no witnesses, no proof. So let me guess. He turned up late, I didn't track back in drills, called the assistant manager bro, got benched, and now it's an ankle issue. Right, you even have the unavailable due to personal reasons. Let me guess. Got caught cheating? Fallout with teammates? Had a meltdown during tactics board meeting? Personal reasons is football's emergency fire exit. It's the don't ask questions excuse. Ballon d'Or theory. First of all, Lionel Messi is the greatest player of his generation. Arguably the greatest of all time. But some of those Ballon d'Or, let's be real, they were handed out like birthday cake. Let's start with the clean one. 2009, fine. Messi was on fire. Barcelona won the treble. He destroyed everything in sight. No complaints here, he deserved it, but that was the last time things were simple. In 2010, Spain won the World Cup. Andres Iniesta scored the winner. Xavi controlled every game like a Jedi Master. Messi, 0 goals, knocked out in the quarterfinals, didn't even have a standout tournament, and yet he wins the Ballon d'Or. Over Xavi, over Iniesta, over literally anyone from the best international team on earth. Why? Because Barcelona was dominating domestically, and the voters had Messi goggles glued to their faces. This was less best player in the world, and more, we forgot to watch the World Cup. Iniesta had one job, win Spain a World Cup and still get robbed. But then unlike the others, things were really different this time. 2012 Ballon d'Or. The year Messi scored 91 goals. Sounds amazing, right? Except he didn't win anything that mattered. Barcelona lost La Liga, lost the Champions League, got knocked out of everything important. Meanwhile, Cristiano Ronaldo carried Real Madrid to 100 points in La Liga. What did Messi do? He slapped Osasuna, Getafe, and Levante with hat-tricks like he was farming coins in FIFA career mode. It was stat padding season. Goals in bulk. No end product. But now let's flip it. It's 2013 and Ribéry wins the treble with Bayern, absolutely demolishes Europe. Messi, injured for chunks of the season, still nominated, still somehow in the top 2. Ribéry finishes 3rd, behind 2 players who didn't even sniff a trophy. And you realise, the Ballon d'Or isn't about who deserved it. It's about who sells more headlines. Now fast forward to 2019, maybe even the most stolen one of all. Messi wins La Liga. Nothing else, no Champions League, no Copa America, no Copa del Rey. Meanwhile, Virgil van Dijk turns into football Thanos. Carries Liverpool to a Champions League win, undefeated at Anfield, pockets every striker on the planet. He literally had attackers switching sides mid-match just to escape his gravitational pull. And he finished 2nd. Yep. But now, 2020, everyone who has eyes saw a real-life robbery happening. Not even kidding. This was the big one, the heist of the decade. 2020 Ballon d'Or was cancelled because of COVID. Lewandowski was the clear winner that year, and everyone knew it. So what happens in 2021? You can guess it by now. Messi wins Copa America. But meanwhile, Lewandowski scores 50-plus goals again, breaks records, wins the Bundesliga, the Golden Boot, and still loses. Why? Because Messi had an international trophy. Finally. And the media went full redemption arc mode. It wasn't about that year. It was about giving Messi one because he finally won something with Argentina. Sentimental nonsense. Lewandowski even said it on stage. I'd like to thank the people who thought I deserved it. Bro got robbed on live television, while clapping. But then the year 2023, aka Haaland season, where things got even darker. Ballon d'Or number 8, 2023. Messi wins the World Cup, in 2022 to be precise. The actual 2023 season, he's playing in League One, flopping out of the Champions League, and prepping his Miami debut like he's launching a fragrance line. Meanwhile, Haaland breaks the Premier League goal record, wins the treble, scores for fun, plays like a Norse god addicted to headers, and yet, Messi completes football. The World Cup means everything. Legacy over form. At least that's what some people said. Most Ballon d'Or voters aren't tactical analysts. They're journalists with YouTube access and mood swings. They vote based on vibes, not form, not trophies, not stats. Football trophies theory, World Cup, Euros, Copa America, Nations League, all insane big tournaments, right? But there's a spicy little take. Most of them, they're not about football, they're about geopolitics and making corrupt billionaires look like national heroes. Let me once again prove it. Imagine spending $220 billion to win the right to host a tournament. Not win it, not play in it, just host. Yep, that's Qatar. Why? Because Qatar knew football is the only thing that could distract the world from human rights violations, migrant worker abuse, zero football history, and a summer so hot the air can cook chicken. But then why did they want it so bad? Simple, that wasn't a World Cup, that was Qatar, the rebrand. Russia 2018, the pre-invasion warm-up. But then the World Cup 2018, unlike the other theories, things were quite obvious this time. Russia hosted a flawless tournament in 2018. Great stadiums, good vibes. But do you think Putin did all that because he loves VAR and stuff? Nah, he wanted a PR buffer. A year later, he's annexing parts of Ukraine like it's a FIFA career mode expansion pack. And no one could scream dictator without hearing, yeah, but didn't Russia host a great World Cup though? It's not football, it's geopolitical misdirection with fancy kits. But then there is one theory I can't let you guys miss out on. The Premier League club with a Saudi glow-up, fans in headscarves, flags in the stands, the media calling it ambitious investment. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia's using Newcastle United as their moral deodorant. Hey, maybe we did a few bad things, but look, Isak just scored a brace. Football is their image makeover. Not a sport, not a passion, a massive international soft power campaign with free kick highlights. When you say Newcastle, you say PSG. Because all Qatar Saudi, you get it. Owned by Qatar Sports Investments. Funded by petrodollars. Marketed as a team. Built as a marketing device. They bought Messi, Neymar and Mbappe not to win the Champions League, but to sell Qatar as cool. And when they lose in the round of 16 every year, who cares? The jerseys sell, the Instagram follows go up, and Qatar gets to pretend it's the LA of the Middle East. But just when you thought we had heard every theory, there are a few more that might leave you even more shocked. Manchester City's owners didn't buy the club for trophies, they bought it for political insurance. Now, every time someone criticizes the UAE, City fans show up on X like it's national defense. Bro, we want a treble, let them cook. You've been tricked. You're defending literal regimes because Bernardo Silva plays nice triangles. Oh, and Ronaldo joins Al Nassr and suddenly, boom. Benzema, Neymar, Kanté, Laporte, Firmino, even managers like Gerrard and Nuno Espirito Santo. This isn't about competition, it's about clout, diversion, and making Saudi Arabia look progressive and forward-thinking. Meanwhile, journalists disappear, dissent is crushed. But hey, Bergwijn did a rainbow flick last week, so that's cool, right? FIFA acts like it's promoting unity in football, but the only thing it promotes is money movement, tax evasion, bidding scandals, and turning national teams into billboard space. You think Morocco making the World Cup semis was beautiful? FIFA thought, how many Arab sponsors can we sign now? You think Canada qualifying was inspirational? FIFA thought, how do we monetize snow? It's not about football. It's about selling literally anything and everything. Just look at the Nations League. Oh, we need more competitive games. At least that's what the FIFA said. Translation, we need more sponsored competitive games. UEFA invented a whole fake tournament because friendlies weren't profitable enough. The Nations League is what happens when your boss invents a fake meeting just so you don't go home early. The winners don't even celebrate it properly. But the branding? Clean, sponsored, broadcast ready. Football has always been emotional. And meanwhile, some oil exec is checking viewership metrics and ordering another private jet. Every tackle, every celebration, every shiny medal, it's all product placement for billionaires who don't even watch the games. You're buying the illusion, wearing it on your back, and defending it online for free.